We all have fond memories of what started us down the path of loving video games. For me, it was my introduction to the world of Pokemon, and my failed attempt to beat platformers such as Donkey Kong Country and Mario 64 as an 8-year-old. Today we're going to dive into a game that brought my childhood memories back to the surface. Let's press start. New Super Lucky's Tale is an action-adventure platform developed by Playful that harkens back to the golden years of 3D platformers. Lucky's Tale was originally conceived for VR and the Xbox One. It then became Super Lucky's Tale for the Xbox One, before finally becoming New Super Lucky's Tale for the Switch. The reason the game gets the added "new" to the game is, according to the developers, because they completely remade and enhanced parts of the game when making it for the Switch. The game is not just a simple port over, it really is almost a new game. As I played through the game, I couldn't help but crack a smile due to the charm the world and the characters present to you. You will visit different worlds that vary very much in theme and design. For example, in one world you meet wrestling yetis that are trying to turn away from the violence of wrestling and live a retirement filled with peace. And then you'll go to a world that has trains and an amusement park being run by ghosts. The game does a great job of varying what you see during your playtime. But let's talk about our main character, Lucky. Lucky is a little fox that gets unwillingly set on an adventure to recover missing pages from a book called the Book of Ages, so that he can make it back to his sister and friends and to stop Jinx, the main villain in the game, who is the reason for all the mess in the first place. To top it all off, the book Lucky is trying to piece back together, well, it just so happens it sucked Jinx, his children, and Lucky into it, so finding these pieces is the only way to make it home and save the day. I found Lucky to be a likable character with just as much charm as the game itself has. His design is very solid, and because the game lets you change his outfit and make combinations of your choosing, you feel invested and very in control of who you're playing. I definitely think Lucky has the making of being another standout mascot for platformers in the future. The game is broken up into hub worlds that all have different themes like mentioned before. Each hub world has a final boss to beat, and each boss is one of Jinx's children. You interact with each boss fairly regularly in each hub world, and I found them to be actually humorous and not really ever annoying. To reach the boss fight in each hub world, you must collect a certain number of pages to unlock the gates that bar you from the level where you fight them. To do this, you must explore the hub world for secrets, coins, and levels. Level design in New Super Lucky's Tale is easily one of my favorite in recent memory. Levels will range from standard 3D hubs, 2D side-scroll free-running, and story-based adventures. No two levels in a hub world are the same, and you never know what you'll be experiencing next, and I personally found that to be refreshing. But how did the levels work, and what do you get from beating them? Well, I'm happy you asked. Each level gives you the opportunity to collect 4 pages. One for beating the level, one for finding the secret page in the level where it's hiding, one for collecting 300 coins, and one for finding the 5 letters of Lucky's name. You are in no way required to collect all 4, and if you wanted to, you could simply just beat the level and move on. But for me, and I'm guessing for many other people out there that will play the game, the real fun comes from collecting as many as you can, if not all. As I mentioned before, those pages you collect go towards unlocking the gate that keeps you from the boss level. And if you collect all 4 from each level in the hub worlds, you could easily have more than enough to unlock the gates. However, collecting them all does have benefits, because the extra pages you do collect are then subtracted from your total you need in the next hub world, making it even easier to get to that next boss. The bosses themselves are a decent time. They add their own little fun variation into the gameplay mix that tries to add challenge, but for the most part I found these battles not very memorable. I left them kind of feeling indifferent over the whole situation, and this is a little disappointing because the time you spend learning about each boss and their personalities and goals and plans is very fun and memorable, and because of that I really wish Playful could have added or given us more memorable fights. All in all, I did find the fight with Jinx to be my favorite, and honestly, that's what a game should leave you feeling when it comes to the final boss fights. His fight was easily the most challenging, if not slightly unfair due to some randomness, but in the end it has memorable moments, and that's why I enjoyed it the most. If you've read or seen other reviews, you know the biggest complaint from New Super Lucky's Tale is the difficulty, and I'll just come out and say it, the game is not hard. This is the type of game a young 8-year-old me could pick up and beat if I took the time and tried. It's not super difficult. However, I personally don't see this as a negative. The game was definitely made in mind that anyone could pick it up and play it and still enjoy it, and for the most part, I think the developers nailed that. Furthermore, in my playthrough, I never really experienced any frame rate drops or controls not working really well. The game actually plays really well and controls even better. It really puts to shame other third-party platformers that have come to the Switch with subpar controls. If I had to describe New Super Lucky's Tale, I'd say it's a polished 3D platformer that harkens back to the past while bringing a modern game to the future generations with a character that could easily become a new mascot for the genre. The game is not very long, about 5 or 6 hours to play through, but it varies itself throughout the entire experience, and this becomes very addicting as you play through the game, and it keeps elements from becoming stale. I fell into a collecting trap with this game, and found myself not being able to leave a level or hub world until everything was done, and because of that I found myself really enjoying the game. Yes, the boss fights may have been on the lackluster side, and the game is easy, but it's also extremely fun, and for me that's what matters the most with New Super Lucky's Tale. I can easily recommend that you go out and buy this game. Thanks for checking out this video. We're Let's Discuss Games, and I'm Aaron. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing for more content in the future. We don't just review games, we discuss all things game related. However, I think it's time to get back to playing. So for now, game over.